This is the process shot. I'm Michael. I'm alone in a haunted movie theater, and this film seems designed to convince me that's a good thing. Vacation Friends is a new adult comedy from director Clay Tarver that pits a rather straight laced and serious couple, Marcus and Emily, alongside a more free spirited and wilder couple, Ron and Kyla. The two couples meet during a vacation stay in Mexico, and, despite Marcus and Emily's reluctance, end up having a great time, even if it's been fueled by alcohol and heavy drugs. Ron and Kyla insist on keeping in touch, but Marcus and Emily manage to keep their distance. However, their wedding in Atlanta is crashed by the other couple, who not only surprise and enchant the other guests and Emily's family, but Marcus and Emily as well, by revealing that Kyla's pregnant and has been since Mexico. As you can guess, there's a big reveal about the father later in the movie, but otherwise that part of the story is more of a dangling sword kind of deal that doesn't get much attention. The bulk of the story is more between Marcus and Ron, as Marcus learns to trust Ron despite the impression he had gotten back in Mexico. The overall film is pretty much about their relationship, dysfunctional as it may seem, and how those first impressions do not necessarily make up the whole person. It's not a bad theme, but it's one which almost seems to betray the initial setup of the film, in that the first act seems to bring the idea that Ron and Kyla are going to follow Marcus and Emily to try and keep the vacation vibe going. That's not to say that the change of pace is a bad idea, and it's honestly a better idea than that setup, but it may seem like a bait and switch for others. In any case, the overall plotting of Vacation Friends does have some big save the cat energy to it, pretty clearly sticking to the pacing and story beats of that structure, but still being able to mask it well enough that it feels like something a bit more original. On a technical level, Vacation Friends is pretty competent, though not very expressive in its design. Cinematography is pretty good at times, mostly framed for comedy reveals, but otherwise more practical than anything. Sound design also works out pretty well for what the movie wants to get across, though again it's not really done with any creative flair. Editing is also the same, being timed for comedy pacing, but otherwise not introducing anything special to the mix. Overall, the movie is pretty much like that. A comedy paced and plotted like any other mainstream adult comedy, with nothing really special to add, but entertaining enough that you don't necessarily feel as though your time is wasted. In the end, there really isn't too much that's actually memorable or provoking about the movie, almost as if it were just made to fill in a gap in the cinematic marketplace. But its focus on a character-driven story does at least bring it back around to something more tolerable than most modern mainstream comedies. Vacation Friends. Clay Tarver, 2021. 2.5 stars. I'd still say to give it a shot. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave it a like. If you didn't, leave it a dislike. If you want to leave a comment, go ahead. As always, subscribe to the channel for more reviews. In the meantime, I'm gonna go grab some food. This movie has a climax involving Waffle House, and now I'm hungry. I've never actually been to Waffle House though.